wrote this three-poem sequence in homage to Ian, and I'm going to read two of them, beginning with Habitations, which is the poem that's on the back wall. Habitations. Earth, orange alpine lichen, slowly digesting stone. Black earth, red earth, brown earth, icy dust. Canyons carved through centuries by water and ice. Stone canyons, mountains thrust up by shifting continents. Across the river, the great trees bend in the wind. They are the habitations, the living are the habitations of the dead. How small is a man? How small is the man who reads the stones and listens to the whispers of the poplars? How large is the heart that measures the heart of a man with a handful of earth? How much hope and sadness is a man with a handful of earth and a heart that unfolds in the moonlight? Listen closely to the stars, to the flutter of nighthawk wings, to the silence. In the moonlight, the sorcerous river tells its secrets, and the great trees shiver. The great trees shiver, and the river is laughter, and stones are polished by rolling when the river rises. The patience of stone, a congress of trees, the witness of the moon. If only human emotion could be found in the things of this world. Even the river runs out of time and drowns in a desert or empties into an ocean. An ocean of time, vast seas of memory. Detritus contains the seeds of beauty. He dragged from the river an ancient cedar log, half petrified, and used it to bind a book. From shark tooth, cuttlefish, and fossilized ear bone of whale, pigments for ink. From stone, the soul of stone, earth from earth, transformed, transfixed. From thistle and feather, a made thing, and yet it is an organism. It has a life. I say the trees listen, and even soil has mind. Soil has a mind that legislates the trees. Each grape on the vine, and the trees and the wine define the changing light that burns inside the mind. Roots of tribal memory burn in solitude, in the vast unknowing of this known world. Gneiss, shale, sheared marble, schist, granite, black coal compressed into diamond clarity. The whale's ear bone, the great tree blown down, each turning to stone, ground into powder for ink. 100,000 years in one small stone. A feather is a magical thing. And what does it mean? And what does it mean when one says the stately poplar or the noble pine? Scrub oak and loblolly, cedar, aspen, and elm. Each has its poet with adjective and rhyme. Because the river, we like to believe, flows through us, and the more noble the tree, the straighter our spine. Down through hardpan 200 feet, through layers of basalt below the sea, I drilled to tap a river in the earth, a vein, water for a home of cedar and spruce. Holy the water, holy the wood. Holy these woods, reclaiming the earth, rich in detritus, becoming soil. Holy the garden, its river of stones, its moss, lilies, and lace-leaf maples. Should trees have standing? Is the katsura aroused by the arousal of its new leaves? Its blood surges. Let the stones tell it. Let the rivers sing it again. Listen closely to the silence. Listen to a language not our own. Not our own, this earth. For us, only the sacrament of its fruitfulness and the great mystery and the mystery of our passing. The tallest trees bend, feathers in the wind, and we marvel at the sound of water in the moonlight. Not ours, this mystery we enter, this strange habitation. The tide rises. The river and the trees, the stones and the man abide. Tasting the wine, terroir, is tasting the sun, the earth and sun. Tasting the fish is breathing the sea. My brother, the blind poet, uses his ears to see. High overhead, the Southern Cross, the river of heaven, Ursa the bear. We drift in the river of heaven under the great bear or beneath the cross in a boat of dreams. We drift in our boat of dreams above the earth and rarely touch it unless it comes tumbling down. And yet the trees bear us up into the world. The rains cleanse us, and we eat from clay all sacrament and abundance before we return to clay, to earth and stone, gone like the cry of the thrush, everything devoured and reborn. Devoured, devouring and reborn, the earth endures. Here, where vast shadows of bending trees ripple on moonlit water, there is a world at ease, indifferent toward our boat of dreams, our palette of temporal desires. This time is measured only by centuries of ice and fire, and by what the winds might bring. Gazing up at these same stars that inspired the artist of Lascaux, the great void, the mystery that is a hunger in the soul. The bison gone and the mastodon, the butterfly that rode the wind to Mexico and back, the little bird that sang the dawn, all devoured and reborn. Devoured and needing to be reborn, the hungry seek a master. Making the paper, grinding the ink, dipping the brush, the master says, "Draw the sound of breeze in the pines," and smiling says, "Don't be foolish enough to draw trees." In the mind of a Buddha, not even a flower. Shiva the maker, Shiva the destroyer. At the summit of a pass through the Alps, high above timberline, I knelt at the foot of a glacier and peered down 1,000 feet at granite boulders in a creek, and for a moment knew this ancient earth, orange alpine lichen, slowly devouring stone.